let's talk about the $2.2 trillion coronavirus relief bill. Your question here obviously is that, when do I get my money? When do I get my $1,200? $2.2 trillion. whole lot of money. 2.2 million. When you hear 2.2 trillion, think, yeah, it's 2.2 million. When do I get my money? The answer is you, in order to qualify for the $1,200 one-time coronavirus relief fund for any American worker, you must have filed your taxes in 2018 or 2019. So you have to have filed your taxes in 2018 or 2019 in order to be properly identified here. Keep in mind that in the initial draft of this, initially Mitch McConnell had it drafted in a way where if you made under $23,000 on your annual income, you wouldn't even qualify for the payment. And the payment was originally a one-time $600 amount. Super frugal here, like comically stupid, comically low. But yeah, it's a one-time $1,200. Anyone who's on unemployment right now and set to have their, you're gonna have your benefits be extended 13 weeks past the point where it was originally due to expire. So in general, that means that unemployment caps at about 26 weeks for most states, but now it will extend to 39 weeks in most states. So you have that here. Also, an additional $600 per week for the next 4 months will be applied to unemployment. So, for example, in Louisiana, our cap here is $250 a week for unemployment, but now it will be buffed an extra $600 a week. So in Louisiana, you would get $850 a week on unemployment. So wait, so you're telling me that unemployment makes $850 a week right now? Well, what's going to be their incentive to go get out and get a job? And you know what? To an extent, the argument is not wrong. That's kind of the point. Like, you kind of only want the essential economy operational right now. It's only being operated because it's essential. So it's like, yeah, we want people to stay in to curb the spread of the virus. So giving you money so you can safely quarantine, feed yourself, live, and not feel like you have to go out and go loot a store to acquire food, shit like that. So yeah, that's a so I'm gonna keep that in mind with that too. But also, now that's a minor point here. Obviously, that's like irrelevant to the whole thing here. That's like a Republican talking point, in my opinion. The point here is really that, like, so wait a minute. So unemployment gets $850 a week, but meanwhile, I work at McDonald's, I work at Wendy's, I work at Taco Bell, I'm a grocery store clerk, I'm told I'm essential, I still make dirt, I make less than $10 an hour. Meanwhile, unemployment gets to get $850 a week. I'm sitting here still working for dirt and pennies. What the fuck, dude? And you know what? You're totally right. What the fuck, dude? Why aren't you getting hazard pay? Talk to your elected officials here, because 100% what should have been in this shit is 130% hazard pay mandated for those who are working essential. 150 billion%. I'm pissed off, and I'm fucking mad that y'all are getting like super raw dogged right now. Y'all are the most vulnerable. You've been self-dubbed essential, and you don't get shit for it. Yeah, it's fucking garbage. That is full-blown fucking garbage. Burn, check in chat. I do want to bring up here the good, though. The good here is that, what happened here is Bernie did fight for $2,000 a month per month until the emergency status was lifted from the country. But unfortunately, he got contested on that really, really hard. Bernie was fighting for you, because he knows how it feels right now. He was looking out for you and giving you $2,000 a month, every month, reoccurring. In addition to all the other shit here as well. Here, he was fighting for that, but ultimately, from what I understand, Republicans pushed back on that and we only got the one-time $1,200. Which, by the way, the one-time $1,200 doesn't really like do shit. It's like, again, literally, if you're an essential worker, you're getting fucked debatably the hardest here, because it's like, yeah, you're still making your dirt starvation wage of like whatever, $7.25, $9 an hour, whatever it may be here, and you're getting this one-time payment. Meanwhile, rent isn't frozen. Meanwhile, bills still due. Meanwhile, Utility shutoffs are completely a state by state, city by city basis right now. It's just ugh, it's trash. Mnuchin is our Department Treasury Secretary. A dangerously high amount of the money in this $2.2 trillion bill is allowed to be allocated by him with no accountability, and even to a bigger extent, no disclosure of who to and how much anytime soon. My last two parts here are getting into the bad about the bill, but all same time here why the bill still passed. Because there are two parts there, okay? The really bad here, likely bailouts to airline, hospitality, cruise, oil, and gas industries. We hear about Mnuchin being able to allocate a lot of those $500 billion that are going to the big businesses. We don't know what percentage, how it'll be allocated, how much power he has in doing it. We just know that like he has a lot of direction that he can like swiftly. He was granted authorization to distribute some certain amount of those funds there, and it will probably be done in a manner that is beneficial to him and others around him. Super duper favorism ultimately here. Airline industry, which had record profits and benefited massively from those Trump tax cuts, and are still doing layoffs and things like that right now, and are begging for a bailout. Like, your business is not operating well whenever you're as big as you are and you have no money set aside for anything here, and you're begging for a bailout. These businesses that are asking for a bailout, whenever you're this big of a company, clearly you have collateral you can borrow against to get a loan to stay afloat here. You don't, like, your first resort does not have to be getting federal aid from the government because my boo-boos hurt, my revenue hurts. I mean, dude, you're a business. You can easily, again, you can get loans as a big business and figure out like what to do here. You don't have to like cry to mom about like, your scuffed boo-boos or whatever here. I want to touch on cruise industries here. These cruise companies are not USA companies. They are typically based in Panama, Liberia, and Bermuda to avoid paying US taxes. The idea that they are, as Trump puts it, they are great companies, but they don't even pay taxes, dude. Like, we're gonna use our tax money, we the people, our tax money to bail out that company. They're not even fucking contributing to the system here. Fuck that, big time. That should make Republicans boil in their eyes right now. But I don't know, lo and behold, here we are, dude. So if it does happen, I want y'all to know here that is some Super Saiyan 10 bullshit, and you should call that shit out, honestly. When I bring up here what's bad about this bill is it's the fact that like what is not in the bill. In the bill are not protections on foreclosures or evictions. You most certainly could have done a rent stimulus to cover specifically rent. You can distribute a certain amount of billions where rent tenants can then apply for a rent stimulus and have that set aside where they literally mail their bills to the government and then they get the money back to pay for the rent in the meantime here. You don't have to pause rent. Just let the tenants be able to pay the fucking rent because they ain't making no fucking money right now. And also nothing on student loan forgiveness here. I did get there was a tweet I saw earlier today here saying that allegedly rent payments are paused till November. Or I'm sorry, paused till September, but I didn't get citation on that, so I don't want to misspeak at this current time here. But I have heard nothing, complete crickets about student loan forgiveness right now. Sometimes you're hearing a number that's, this is a $2.2 trillion bill. Sometimes you're hearing it's a $6 trillion bill. The reality here is that $500 billion fund going towards big corporations, 425 billion of it can be leveraged 10 times over by the Federal Reserve. That means that this quickly balloons into a big old bloated mess of over $6 trillion. The problem here is that the bill permits bailed out companies to lay off up to 10% of their workforce over the next 6 months, with the implication here of no restrictions thereafter. So for now, you just fire the 10% most draining parts or you fire the 10% most disposable employees in your company. Again, typically the most vulnerable, whatever it may be, right? And then from there, you wait 6 months, irrelevant of the status of coronavirus and if this is still going on in recession here. And then you just go, then like I'm talking like literally like day 181, Off you go, bro. Layoff central, dude. Am I opposed to a bailout for companies? Not entirely, no. I think most of them are not necessary, not required, and ultimately we should really refine on like focusing on what fixes this pandemic first. And the problem here is that it's just ultimately a hollow facade. The bailouts for these companies will mean very little because the economy is not stabilized to flourish and operate as American normal because the virus still exists. The virus is still out there. People are still not going to go eat at restaurants or go to barbershops or go to salons or go to movie theaters or go to any of that public shit because it's not healthy. There's a fucking pandemic going on. And those sections of the economy not operating has a domino effect that affects other things as well eventually here too. Travel. Nobody's fucking traveling because it's not safe to travel either at this point. So the idea of bailing out a failing company, one that has been fiscally or financially irresponsible to not have any money saved for a rainy day, that it can't even survive 2 fucking weeks without optimal operation, is kind of obscene. And also that what else is going to happen here? You give them money, cool. You're putting money in a goddamn fireplace. The economy is still crap. It's going to remain crap until you get the virus isolated, under control, contained, and then defeated. Ultimately, when people feel safe again, they'll en masse go do the thing they'll do. They'll go spin and stimulate the economy once again here. But right now they can't. So bailing out the companies is just like just throwing money at nothing ultimately, because they're going to be down again, dude. Look at unemployment rates, look at the stock market and its reaction to like the things they were doing before this free money stimulant packet happened for the companies. And you see here that, yeah, it's just going to just crash again, dude. It's actual insanity. It's ineffective. It's in denial of what would actually fix the problem they're currently in. And it's a short-sighted, short-term monetary greed tactic used by the rich and powerful to become more rich and powerful. Full stop. The idea that if you save the company, the company on their own morale and their own agenda will save their employees is a huge assumption that has been proven to not happen time and time again. Therefore, the idea of rescuing a company to rescue its workers is not rooted in reality, because we have the habitual history that indicates otherwise. Ultimately, what you need to do is bail out the workers, not the companies. Ultimately, the bill passed because, at least the bill got, I guess, relevant here, Bernie's support, because getting the American people something in a time of need outweighed cracking down on unparalleled typical corporate greed yet again. And it's unfortunate because this could have been it. This really could have been the time where the tides have changed and the accountability of our not free market finally have switched. And then, like, you know, even something as simple as just having, you know, the idea that, okay, any company getting a bailout has to, you know, really deal with some actual accountability here. You can't lay people off ever, blah, blah, blah. You offer equity share in your company to the federal government, blah, blah, blah. You need a bailout, cool, we got you, but it comes at a cost because you're utilizing American taxpayer money. Ultimately, where we are though right now is that you work for America, you get taxed on what you make, and that money went directly into the pockets of some of these mega, already wealthy corporations that then have no accountability to actually do the very thing that they are expected to do to better the economy. To recap here, everyone who filed their taxes in 2018 or 2019, they are getting a one-time $1,200 stimulant check. And if you filed your taxes with a direct deposit, then you will see a direct deposit in your account within, they say, I heard one citation say as early as April 6th, but I think 3 weeks is more realistic here. And if you do not have direct deposit already from filing taxes, then you would get it. You will see a check. I'm hearing as delayed as 12 weeks actually. So what was the good in all that? The good, okay, the recap here. The good was unemployment got a huge buff. If you're on unemployment now, you will get, or if you apply for it, if you were displaced by the coronavirus economic thing we're dealing with right now here, an additional $600 per week. So you could be potentially making upwards of $950 per week on unemployment for the next 4 months. So everyone who filed in 2018 gets a $1,200 one-time paycheck. When it's coming, we'll have to see here. Keep in mind here that does exclude people who are on Social Security income, who are disabled because they're on SSI, veterans, or don't owe taxes, or are most vulnerable because they're so poor they don't do their taxes and whatever it may be. That's really it. Those are the whole things there. I mean, there's also good here too. Like there's money going towards state and local emergency aid into hospitals and shit like that. But not everyone. If you make under 75K a year, you get $1,200. Those who make above 75K a year will get essentially zero. Yeah, that's correct. Sorry. But yeah, and then of course, if you're an essential worker, if you are still employed despite your state having a stay-at-home order, if you are a fast food worker, grocery stocker, or whatever it may be here, you're still working. And in some cases, yes, those on unemployment are making more money than you right now. Very embarrassing. There's no hazard pay mandated bonuses here for those people. Because now you're looking and you're like, well, fuck, man, I wish I got laid off right now. I know it's stupid. It's actually stupid. So that's what I got for you there. What about stay-at-home dads? Did you file federal taxes in 2018 or 2019? Because ultimately, again, as long as you filed federal in 2018 or sooner and you made under 75K a year, you should be good to go. Now, the question I don't know here is like, if you were a dependent, if you're over 18 but you were a dependent in 2018 and you filed, I want to say you should still get it, but I am ultimately assuming right now, so I'm not quite sure there ultimately.